Hi everyone, JT here, and welcome. So, first, I must address a change of background than usual for my year-end list. I am currently visiting my father and my family here in the DFW area for Christmas this year. So, I'm filming in our media room upstairs, so it's a change of background than usual, a little bit more formal, if you can say. But as of me posting this, it is December 30th, 2024. We're in the final 2 days of 2024. And of course, if you can guess it, yep, I'm joining basically a majority of music critic YouTubers, movie critic YouTubers, and any YouTuber that does a reviews for a living. You know what I'm doing, of course. I am now contributing to list season 2024. And of course, we're beginning with my top 10 best movies of 2024. 2024 was a wild year, both in movies and kind of also in reality, if you can say. There were a lot of movies I went to see, and thankfully enough that I can make a solid top 10 list. I saw a majority of the movies on my top 10 list. I'm going to begin already by preferencing already. I haven't seen all the movies that came out in 2024. I mean, just economic wise, time wise, I didn't go see everything. Believe me, there were so many movies I wanted to go see in 2024. I just didn't have the time or financial accessibility to go see them in a movie theater, I mean, or on streaming, just time also. It's been busy, okay? I just graduated with my bachelor's degree, so if that's not a sign of how busy I was this year, I don't know what to tell you. But I didn't go see everything this year, but I saw enough to make a solid top 10 list. Also, this is all just my opinion, okay? You might not agree with everything on my list, but these were my choices, okay? These were movies that I see were the best of top 10. And, well, you don't like it, I don't know what to tell you there. It's all just your opinion, and I got mine, okay? But enough of that. Let's get this out of the way. Let's begin with my number 10 pick for best movie of 2024. Okay, starting off my list at number 10, we have Despicable Me 4. Yeah, I'm putting this at number 10 just because this was a solid sequel movie I enjoyed more than anything. While I've not been a avid viewer of the Despicable Me franchise, I saw the first movie, didn't see two, I did see three, and now I did see four. Four, I feel, is a good closing to Despicable Me as a series. Unfortunately, I don't think that will be happening anytime soon, as there is a Despicable Me 5 in development, which I don't see the point, but considering that this felt like closing, and I feel like it was a solid closing to Despicable Me as a series of films. The Minions were the big annoyance of this movie. I think we're all over Minions. I mean, they're cute, they're fun for like small fragments, but I feel like they were kind of the big hindrance of the movie. Believe me, if I have to deal with more of the Minions being just annoying tirades during the film, I was gonna act like that Pompinia girl and go ballistic. But, I will say I did like the voice acting. Steve Carell, of course, delivered great as Gru. I also liked Jolie King as the girl Poppy Prescott, who was a big standout for me out of the new characters in this film. But yeah, I enjoyed Despicable Me 4. I feel it was a good closing movie. Unfortunately, I don't think Illumination will see that, as we're going to be getting another Despicable Me film, but in my opinion, I feel Despicable Me 4 was a good film to close the series out. It was fun. It's everything that you can enjoy from a Despicable Me film. Okay, number 9 on my list is a movie that I saw that was recommended to me by a YouTube personality who stars in this very briefly, but delivers greatly. Number 9 on my list is Bosco. This Peacock original movie was a surprise to me. It was a very, based off a true prison break story, it was very interesting to see the psychological effects of being in solitary confinement in a prison, and particularly for a minor arresting for possession of marijuana, which that the main character of this movie was for, was interesting to see, and the psychological effects of being in there, and the really it was just a very interesting drama. The acting was great, and I give a shout out to the said YouTuber. I am talking about the man involved in Hell Boss, Brandon Rogers. He had a very minor supporting role in this movie, and he kind of shared this on social media. But I could just say, he is an amazing dramatic actor. We all know Brandon Rogers, the crazy, insane YouTuber with the crazy skits, insane, just different variety of characters on his own YouTube channel. Of course, his performance in Hell of a Boss. But here he very much delivers greatly as a dramatic actor. He was good. You know, the character he has, who seems like this is his first time in prison, and the psychological effects and the anxiety he's having being in there in solitary confinement, particularly with mental issues too. His delivery in this dramatic role was amazing, you know? And I can say, I mean, he's also gotten dramatic before, like in Hell of a Boss, specifically in the recent season finale. But he delivered greatly in this role as being just a minor supporting role. Really, I could see him having hopefully maybe future endeavors in bringing dramatic acting, you know, outside of comedy. But really, this was a fantastic film. Might not be for everyone, but Bosco was an interesting standout. And that's also coming from something coming out of Peacock, too, which sometimes has subpar material. You know what I will be talking about when my worst list comes out tomorrow. Number 8 on my list, Inside Out 2. So again, we got another film, animated sequel, and a surprising one at that. So I didn't watch the original Inside Out when it came out. I did see it properly from beginning to end with my family before going to see the sequel. And I will say, this is a very good growth of this movie from the first film. Riley, of course, getting new emotions as she's now in her pubescenary phase of becoming a teenage girl. You know, dealing with anxiety, having envy now, embarrassment, you know. I forgot one of the emotions' names, which one of my little cousins cosplayed this year as for Halloween. Henri, I think it is. Either way, this was a good movie that shows the growth of so many characters this year again, with Joy and the other fears. You know, while I don't think it's the best as the first movie, I feel this does relate to a lot. Believe me, anxiety definitely relates to a lot of people. maybe shamefully myself included. But yeah, it just this movie animation is great, of course, coming from Disney and Pixar. The voice acting was spectacular, in this movie. You know, the voice actress of Anxiety also giving out really a standout performance as her role of being Anxiety. Yeah, Inside Out 2 was a solid sequel and solid film to come out this year at a time where Disney's kind of been up and down in quality. And that might be so much so for next year. Disney might have a rough 2025, folks. So I'm trying to be nice to certain selections from that studio that are going to be on this list. Number 7 on my list, My Hero Academia, You're Next. Now, I've gone and have seen and have watched, with the exception of the first movie, I've seen all the last three My Hero Academia movies at the movie theater. And I will say, I've not been disappointed with either film. My Hero Academia, You're Next, while I don't think it is best as Heroes Rising, which I think is the best of the films from the My Hero Academia series, this movie, of course, didn't disappoint at all. One thing about My Hero Academia is in terms of when it has feature films coming out, they always have me hooked. They always keep me in suspense about what will happen next. Can Deku can save this person? Will they be able to save these characters? What is interesting? Why are these characters acting this way? There was so much that I like that these movies. That's one thing, particularly for superhero movies. You gotta hook me in. You gotta keep me in suspense. You gotta keep me excited. My Academia, Your Next does that. I was always really just like, ooh, like reacting, keeping me on my toes to see what could happen next, you know? And the animation, of course, is fantastic. The fight sequences were outstanding. The voice acting, English dub, yes, I watched the English dub. Come at me, English dub purists. I don't do English. You know what I mean. I like the English dub, okay? I like the English dub cast, okay? Justin Briner, Zuzu, Deku delivers greatly. Everybody was great and delivered full on when it came to their voice roles in My Hero Academia, You're Next. I like the characters in this movie, the newly added ones as well. They were all fantastic. Again, I like the teamwork also displayed by the UA High classmates, the Deku's classmates. You know, the planning. They're really showing their growth as heroes. And specifically with this, with My Hero Academia officially coming to a close next year, and this quite possibly being the final film of My Hero Academia, getting a feature film release. I mean, what can I say? This was a great film, you know, enticing me, keeping me on my toes, keeping me excited to know what happens next, keeping me in suspense. That's how superhero movies should do. And My Academia Your Next delivers in keeping me plus ultra in having fun watching a superhero movie. Number 6 on my list, speaking of a superhero movie, the duo that has saved the MCU during a time where we were kind of at a low point in feature movies, even though I enjoyed the Marvels. Seriously, I don't get what you people hate about the Marvels. I mean, is it because of Miss Marvel? I like the Miss Marvel. Anyways, number 6 on my list, Deadpool and Wolverine. I know this movie not being number 1 sounds insane, but this is my list, so don't judge me, okay? Whatever is if you have a number 1, that's fine. But this was a saving grace. Again, I'm not big on the MCU. I don't follow it devoutly, but this movie was definitely, again, like with My Academia Your Next, I had fun watching it. Okay? Ryan Reynolds, again, no one could play with other perfection Deadpool than him. Similarly, too, with Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. And in that retro Wolverine yellow blue outfit. Man, talk about nostalgia if you were a 90s X-Men fan. Delivered greatly in this, okay? The outrageous fight sequences, everything we love about Deadpool was not eliminated, okay? Disney graciously, Disney Marvel, everything we love about Deadpool was still here. We had fun. The the breaks, the breaking the fourth wall here delivered greatly. The showing of the state of the MCU and the rough patch we are currently in, shared explicitly by Deadpool. Hilarious. Just everything that we wanted, I feel, if you're a Marvel fan, was delivered here. This was a fun film, and that's one thing. This was dumb fun, but what can you expect from a Deadpool movie? We expect dumb fun, and this is dumb fun that I had fun with. Okay, comedy. Again, this was just a superhero movie. I wanted to entice me. I wanted to do the suspense, and particularly how you have fun. And Deadpool and Wolverine achieved that, just like with My Hero Academia. This achieved achievement greatly here. Okay, and who knows what we can expect next. But Deadpool and Wolverine, possibly one of the great experiences for me to have, and this is coming from someone who is not devout to the MCU. Yeah, I enjoyed Deadpool and Wolverine in a year where it was kind of a rough patch for a lot of superhero movies. Some of them will be shared tomorrow in my worst movies list. Number 5 on my list, the Casa Grandes movie. So I watched this movie earlier in the year, and one thing I enjoyed about the show that this was based off, which was disrespectfully canceled, this has not been a good year for Nickelodeon, alongside with a lot of problematic stuff. Oh, them canceling the Casa Grandes put an anger in me that I have not had since their very disrespectful treatment to the Legend of Korra. But I'm glad at least we got this, the Casa Grandes movie. And I will say, I really had a fun time watching this movie. I like the kind of historical, indigenous elements about Mexico, the Aztecs that were kind of referenced here. And I just love the dynamics and the crazy wildness of the Casa Grandes and the blended family kind of vibe with Ronnie Ann in this movie, with Ronnie Ann's family. I didn't really like Ronnie Ann at first when it came to watching her on The Loud House, but when she got her own show, I became a devout fan of of the Casa Grandes. And this movie definitely shares everything I enjoyed about this movie, about that show, and putting it in the movie form. You know, and and it's relatable to me because I also have a blended family. I have many family members from all connections of families, my stepmoms, my dads, my moms. So, and I like that vibe that is presented in the Casa Grandes. And this movie really shows that with a crazy kind of like ancient Mexican folklore kind of thing. I don't know. I like the Casagrandes movie. It's a shame the show was canceled, but at least Nickelodeon was kind enough to give us this movie. And I think this was a great closing kind of final finale for the Casagrandes. I know we're going to still see them possibly in future Loud House episodes, but the Casagrandes movie, it was a relatable fun for me. I related to it a lot. I had fun with it, and I feel it was a good finale. even though the Casagrandes did not deserve to get canceled. I'm not going to forgive you, Nickelodeon, for that, alongside with a lot of other things. This was a very rough year for you guys, and you will know more about that in my worst movies list tomorrow. Number 4 on my list, Superman, the Christopher Reeve story. So this year was surprising that I did watch a lot of docu-series and documentaries that were released. And I didn't want to overload this list with documentaries. But this one was a standout to me, one of two that were standouts. This documentary, kind of like with the Michael J. Fox documentary on Apple TV that I put on my list back in 2022, was very emotional. I feel like if you were a true DC fan and grew up with Christopher Reeve as Superman and knowing what would happen to him post his DC Superman career, his paralyzing injury from a horseback equestrian, it just, you really see that even outside from being Superman, he kind of was a superhero for a lot of people who were paralyzed. And there was one scene in this documentary, slight spoiler, where his friend Glenn Close shares about the relationship he had with Robin Williams, and sharing how when he died, she believes that if Christopher Reeve didn't die, that Robin Williams would still be with us. Oh, just thinking back to that scene still gets me emotional. Literally, Glenn Close literally will rip your heart out after you see that scene. It's still, it makes you emotional because it kind of is kind of true. But I really, this was a powerful documentary. Like, again, I never grew up with Christopher Reeve as Superman, but I know about his paralyzed injury and his time and his advocacy, and learning a lot more of that now, more about him, his past life growing up and stuff, his getting the role as Superman. Man, I mean, really, if you are a DC fan, you will weep and have the tissues on standby when you watch this documentary. Like, after watching this documentary, I had to put it on this list no matter what. And this was a very powerful documentary, hands down. Number 3 on my list, Spy Family Code White. I went to see this movie, and again, I love Spy Family. I do. I love it. And this movie, oh my gosh, this is what we needed. A full-length feature film with your, with Lord, with Anya, and the entire Vulgar clan in the crazy action spy adventure we needed. This really, this was again, just like My Academia, Deadpool and Wolverine, superhero movies, you gotta hook me in with some suspense, some awesome action sequences. And when it comes to Spy Family's case, the comedy's got to be strong. And all of these 3 check boxes were checked 100% with this movie. The writing was hilarious. The acting, I watched this subbed. I like Spy Family more subbed than I do dub. No disrespect to the dub cast of Spy Family, but I do like the sub more. And the performances in this film were fantastic. And the humor in this film was as goofy that you love to expect when it comes to the Spy Family. And of course, some fantastic action sequences. Yours action sequence in the dirigible was so crazy and so awesome. You know, she is such a great character. And Lord's way of disguising in this movie, man, this was such a fun film. Again, I was just overjoyed with having so much fun watching this movie. Everybody in the theater who was watching this movie with me had such a fun time watching this movie. And Spy Family was definitely a great standout. I am looking forward to the new season of Spy Family when it comes out fall next year. It's going to be a long wait, but you know what? It will be worth the wait because I cannot wait to see more of our sweet, precious, pink, mind-reading being, cutesy bean, Anya, give us more fun. And this movie served us well when it came to the fun adventure that we enjoyed. That was Spy Family Code White. Number 2 on my list is a documentary that, even though I'm a fan of said music artist, I am putting it this high because what she allowed to share with us was unbelievable and very raw for her to share. Number 2 on my list, I am Celine Dion. Now, I have been a fan of Celine Dion for a long time, since I was little, and I still enjoy her music. And I remember watching that YouTube video when she announced her diagnosis with stiff person syndrome. And this documentary I was very much looking forward to because I wanted to see how open Celine was going to be in this movie. And really, she was very open. The sharing of her getting very emotional, and she gets very emotional in this movie. You know, she loves the stage. She loves performing. She does not like disappointing an audience. You know, that powerful little thing she said of comparing herself to an apple tree. You know, and not wanting to disappoint if she can't deliver all the apples for her audience was really touched me because, you know, she's a great performer, and seeing that she misses it so much was amazing. You know, we all dismiss like she's made so much money in Vegas, you know, but she loves that interaction. She loves performing for her fans. And this documentary really also displays just how crazy this disease she's enduring. The scene of her dealing with a full-on spasm and just seeing her like frozen with like it's crazy to even contemplate what's happening to her body when going through a spasm like that. And that alone was like, this was, Celine really did not want, she was like, show them everything. And, you know, she said it herself, if I can't run, I'll walk. If I can't walk, I'll crawl. But I won't stop. And look what happened at this year's opening ceremony of the Paris Olympic Games. She stood there on top of the Eiffel Tower singing. And you know, she said she won't stop, and she didn't stop. Seriously, I Am Celine Dion was the best celebrity biopic, you know, that I've seen ever in my life. And this even like surpasses Celine Through the Eyes of the World, her last documentary she made. This was a great documentary, and if you are, even if you're not a Celine Dion fan, you will like this documentary. And yes, I am putting it at number 2 on my best movies list. Not just because I'm a fan, but because I liked this documentary. And this was a great documentary. This was a true display of how a documentary should be made. And I'm hoping the best for Celine. Because if she could make a comeback at the opening ceremony of the Olympics, she will come back. Alright, finally, number 1 on my list. It was tough to choose what was going to be number 1. Was it going to be a documentary? Was it going to be something? What was it going to be? And after watching it recently, this is going to be a surprise to a lot of people. My number 1 pick is the anime film Look Back. Now, I remember watching Chainsaw Man. Loved the show. Some people said it was overrated. I think it was great. I didn't watch it fully, but it was interesting. Look Back takes the aspects that I enjoyed with Chainsaw Man and takes it in a complete different story. I didn't know the creator of Chainsaw Man wrote this story originally, and I could definitely tell with all the outrageous things that happened during it. Seeing this kind of story about this young manga writing girl creating these mangas and then teaming with this recluse, shy animating girl, and showing kind of the pressures of being a manga creator in Japan, and just adding some of the outrageous animation and over-the-topness that we also expected out of coming from Chainsaw Man into this film was amazing. Being a very short movie, an hour, barely even an hour and 30 minutes, I liked it. There was emotion. There was crazy animation. Diverse of animation, definitely. There was so much different styles of animation displayed here. I really liked about it. And I just really liked the story. You know, showing with also having that violence, gore, and stuff that you would see in Chainsaw Man delivered in this movie. You know, I mean, I know, I saw this recently, but I don't know, there was something interesting about this movie. It was totally different from everything else I've been seeing this year. And the fact that it was and I'm glad I took the time to watch it. Really, I like this story, you know? This manga creator, when tragedy then ensues, and then it's very funny too. It's kind of dark in the comedy, so a lot of y'all might not get it. But if you like Chainsaw Man, you might get it. And you will enjoy this movie. Yeah, I know. This is a very weird standout to me. I wasn't expecting to put this movie on at number 1, but really looking at everything I watched and choosing what to make down to top 10, I don't know. Like, this movie it's something I like to see. I like to see differences here that I've expected. Yeah, so Look Back is the choice. This was a big standout, and I enjoyed it. Look Back is my pick for the number 1 best movie of 2021. That it's a very weird standout, but it was very much different than a lot of animated films I see, and was a big standout creative wise, why I made it number 1. And that's it. That is my pick for my top 10 best movies of 2024. What do you guys think of my top 10 list? Let me know in the comments down below. Tomorrow will be the premiere of my top 10 worst movies of 2024. And that will be, of course, New Year's Eve, meaning the last day of 2024 as well. So, thank you all for watching. Thank you for growing my channel, helping it tremendously in its growth. Thank you for just really helping keep my channel growing, to 257 subscribers as of this recording. And a lot of things are coming soon for 2025. So thank you all for watching. Follow me if you can. Please subscribe. Hit the notification bell if you can. Follow me on my socials. And until next time, this is JT signing off.